Hello, Del Ballou back again, and I'm back again working on this uh, series of reclaiming old or unfinished paintings with palette knife. This is session 2 of this particular painting, and if you want further information about what's going on here, then please go back and watch session 1. This is session 2. Now, I've done some work since I turned off the video camera, and I'm working through some issues. Over here, I'm using basically all of the reds on my canvas, on my palette, and I'm using sap green to darken those, even in the case of alizarin crimson, which I've used over here for my shadow colors. But I'm sort of interspersing some little highlight colors here and there. And as I go along, I'll be making decisions, and maybe even after I have finished the painting, I'll have some issues I have to deal with along the way. And as I said before, these areas of underpainting are green because that's the complement to red. In this case, these are red tomatoes. So I'll be painting over the greens with the reds. And actually, the original painting that I did of this, I titled Maters, which if you're Southerners, you'll understand what that is all about. But for this one, I've decided the title should be Shades of Red. And every day I write a devotional because I am an ordained minister. I create these devotionals online, and I had not written the one for today until after I had started painting all these shades of red, because this is the Easter season, as it turns out, and this is Holy Week, and it became really important for me to talk about the blood of Jesus. So if you happen to be on Facebook, you can go to my Facebook page, because I do make those public so that anyone who's on Facebook can read them. But today is March 23rd, 2016. So if you are anywhere in the vicinity of that date and you're interested, I would encourage you to go and read it, and go and read other things. My whole aim in life and my calling in life is to help make a difference in people's lives. When I went to my very first teaching interview, I told the person interviewing me that above all, I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And that was in 1990. And I still feel very strongly about that. And so I'm using every venue I can possibly use. And in this day and time, it's much easier to communicate with more people outside of my realm of influence otherwise. So I hope you'll check out my website, which I have written down below this videotape, and also my websites, delballou.com, and Del is spelled like the computer, and then BELEW. And if you have questions or comments, I really welcome those communiques from you, either on this YouTube video or on the Facebook page. And if you wish to be my friend, I welcome you as a friend as well. And then you can read everything I write on Facebook. And I have a wide variety of comments, from the very serious to the goofy, because I enjoy life. I'm using mostly alizarin crimson down here on the bottom, which is the shadow area for the most part. And to make that darker still, I'm using some sap green, and I'm assuming in my little artsy world here that nothing is solid color. Everything has a variety. I don't want to blend in these colors too much because I want them to maintain their looseness, and as I've mentioned before, I want to maintain the green coming through them. At some point pretty soon, I'm going to have to do something with these little green stems because they're beginning to work into my tomato color, and I won't have a clue where they are. Not that I really know what they are or how they were in my original photograph of the tomato. But as I've said many times, this is my painting. I can basically look any way I want them to. And I do like to follow some sort of proper application of paint and stay within the compositional standards. But if that happens, it's wonderful. If it doesn't, that's okay too. I mean, I look at some of the paintings that over the years have brought millions of dollars that don't really make a lot of sense to me, and in some cases aren't pleasant to look at, but somebody thought they were, besides the artist himself or herself. But they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that is certainly true when it comes to the beholder's pocketbook. Of course, I'd love to have my paintings sell for the millions and not have to die to make that happen. But someday I'm going to anyway. So hope my benefactors will enjoy all this work I'm enjoying. It's not even work, actually. I've brought the painting just a little bit closer so that you can see what I'm doing. And in some cases, I realize now I've lost you altogether, or you've lost me. So let me move up here to the top. I don't have somebody working with me in this video camera to move it about, so I'm pretty much limited to the amount that I can move it during the painting process. But I'll try to stay a little bit more in your realm of vision. But if I haven't mentioned it lately, I'm enjoying myself immensely in these paintings. And if on occasion the screen shakes, it's because I tend to bump on my tripod, which is right up next to me. I'm a seasoned artist, but I'm not all that technically adept. But I am thankful for YouTube videos. I mean, how else can people be the star in their own movies? And I was thinking how nice at some point my children will be able to watch these videos. I think about ministers who have gone on to be with the Lord, and they had TV and videos, TV recordings, videos of their sermons, and they're able to, their families or their foundations, their ministries are able to play them again and again long after they've gone to be with the Lord. So there's some awesome things about new technology that's happening every day around us. I'm old enough to remember the days when we not only didn't have car phones or cell phones, but we didn't even have private party lines. We had to have lines with other people, and invariably those other people were on our line when we wanted to make a phone call. So we've come a long way, and in many cases we've come good ways. In many instances we've improved, but unfortunately in just as many instances we've gone a long way away from what it means to be human and what it means to be humans in relationship with other people. So we sort of have to take the good with the bad and be careful not to throw the babies out with the bathwater, as they say. And I'm sort of enjoying making these videotapes because it gives me somebody to talk to while I'm working. One of my students was talking about an artist she was watching, and she got to a point where she wasn't really paying attention to what he was doing because he was so funny that she was really listening more like she was listening to a comic routine. I'm not quite that funny, so that's probably not going to happen with me anytime soon. But then again, every once in a while, I might say something that's laughable. Or serious. I think I'll forego talk of politics, however. There's no telling where we'll be politically when some of you are viewing this. But I'm just having a good time here. Trying to make sure I'm still staying in the view. Now, because of this paint being pure paint and not diluted in any way, I will definitely be able to go back and add colors and remove colors and so forth, because that's just the nature of palette knife painting. And I do want this to be interesting, so I don't want to just scumble paint on here just for the sake of putting it on. But I want it to have some rhyme or reason for the choices that I make. I really like what's going on right here. And I've cautioned, I think in the last video, about adding a little bit of yellow to the white whenever you're changing the tone, because if you don't, you get paste. But if you add too much yellow, you get orange. And I have a little more a little more yellow in this than I would normally do if I were just toning that down. But because I'm trying to give variety, I'm letting this yellow have a part in my lighter areas. So I hope if you're not painting that you will pull out your paint and learn to enjoy something millions of other people have been doing for thousands of years. Painting, like writing, is very important for some very cathartic reasons. And I'm going to call this episode, this session, closed for now, and I will be back. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for session 3.